Education Secretary Miguel Cardona toured an elementary school in Alexandria, Virginia, which the Department of Education considers a model for how to safely reopen amid the pandemic. Now, back in December, then President-elect Joe Biden set this week as his benchmark for getting students back into the classroom. Watch.
My team will work to see that a majority of our schools can be open by the end of my first 100 days. That's right. We'll look to have the most schools open that we can possibly in 100 days.
Joining me now from Alexandria, Virginia is NBC News correspondent Heidi Przybyla. Heidi, you spoke exclusively with Secretary Cardona today during his visit. What did you learn about their efforts to get these schools back up and running by the end of tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, the Secretary is coming to schools like the Ferdinand Day School here in Alexandria to highlight success stories of schools that have opened. But he also heard a lot of frank talk from local community leaders here, Eamon, about the significant challenges ahead, because reopening schools is not just about access. It's not just about the physical buildings. It's also about hesitancy, particularly in communities like this, where there are a lot of students who speak English as a second language. They may live in multi-generational housing where members of the family are very, very worried about COVID. They may live with undocumented members. And also, Eamon, there is the shame of a lot of these students who just fell so far behind during this pandemic. Bottom line is, according to the Secretary, we're just not there yet. Take a listen.
We are using data from February. We're going to get data next week, updated data. But even the data from February, 2 months ago, shows over 80% of our schools are giving students an opportunity for in-person learning. About half are giving a full day, every day, K-8 schools. So that's good progress. That's in February, before the vaccinations. So that's good news, but I expect more. I want more. I want to give every student across the country an opportunity to learn in person before the end of the school year. And there are many states that right now are offering 100% of their students an in-person learning option. But it's also about those students who are learning remotely, helping their families feel comfortable sending their students back. That's going to be part of our goal as well.
So, Eamon, many school administrators have been clamoring for more guidance from the federal government, not just on the safety protocols of reopening, but on closing that significant learning gap. And the Secretary did tell NBC exclusively today that he is going to aim within the next few months to come together with some kind of a big best practices manual, given that we've just never been through this. At least those of us right now, we were never alive during the last pandemic. Nobody who's managing this today has that kind of institutional expertise, Eamon.
Heidi, the Secretary also talked about the administration's goal of giving more money to address infrastructure at schools, a critical component in combating the pandemic and getting them back up and running safely. What did he have to say about that?
Eamon, this has been a problem long before COVID, and that is just the dilapidated nature of our public schools. Even here in Alexandria, we heard today from school administrators about a school just down the road that has a thank you to President Roosevelt for constructing it on the side. They are so old, they are suffering from ventilation problems, and the Secretary also spoke to us a little bit about that and what the goals are. Take a listen.
We have a president that gets it, that understands the importance of education, that understands that education is the foundation for this country's growth. And there are investments there, and not only reopening, but also making sure that our schools are safe. You know, the facilities issues that I've seen in this tour are shocking. There's some places where the ventilation system is really bad, hasn't been looked at in years.
And those ventilation systems, Eamon, are a major persistent concern. And the concern now that the Secretary told me is that some schools are not getting the message about which devices to buy to purify the air and which devices are gimmicks or could potentially be harmful to students. And so he is working with the CDC director, he tells us, to come up with more specific directions on that.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.